Hello, everyone. This is Better Together. I'm the host, Nick Allen, and today we're excited to welcome friend Mariann Taigman to Better Together. How's it going, Mariann?
It's going really good, Nick. Thanks so much for asking me to be here.
Yeah, well, we have some questions for you,
Okay.
obviously. And you're, I would say, a known commodity in the community. You're everywhere and just being a loud voice for saving the Orchard Mesa pool. Let me start off why are you so passionate about this pool and the people that are working to save it?
Oh, great question, Nick. Well, it started out, I'm a lap swimmer, and I love the Orchard Mesa Pool. It's right down the street from me. And I have a lot of friends that are lap swimmers and that do the aqua aerobics class. So when there was talk back in 2020, 2019, 2020 of possibly demolishing the pool, we were all shocked. And it's like, we have to do something about this. So that's kind of how the idea started. And then very quickly, the focus changed to the Orchard Mesa community and the
Mhm.
community members and families that live there. And with our lack of
Communities. And some immunities. And some immunities.
we just can't lose the pool.
Yeah.
And so the whole idea of the Save the Orchard Mesa pool just kind of evolved.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's where my passion lies. And I love swimming. I'm all about activity, and kids need activity and swimming. It's also a very place where people really socialize.
Right.
And it's been there for years. Is it old? Yes. A lot of us are old
Right. It's
too,
true.
but
I'm getting
it
older every
doesn't
day.
mean we get rid of things.
Right.
So yeah, that's where my passion started. Good question.
So, I mean, a lot of people, this has been going on for over 5 years, this work to save the pool. And sometimes it gets brought up of just like, oh, I didn't know what was going on, or have you all tried X, Y, or Z? Everyone's got, their feedback,
Right.
asked for or not sometimes. But tell us, what have you all done to try and, figure this thing out, just as community members, mind you,
Right.
you have had some support from electeds, of course, but a lot of this work has just been by people.
Right, right. And I have to give you a plug because you have been instrumental from the beginning too in helping us start this committee and speaking out and speaking to council members. So Better Together has been there from the beginning,
Well,
and
thank you.
you
Yeah.
and your family as well. And that's one of the things, that you came up with the idea to have a rally. And that was incredible, with your organizational skills and our committee and the people that are on our Facebook page that want to keep
Hmm.
this pool open. I mean, we handed out thousands of flyers to come to the rally. You suggested offering free food, and we had, I think, over 260
Yeah.
people that showed up, and we had speakers, and it was amazing. So that's the kind of things that the Save the Pool committee has done.
Hmm.
We also had a petition, I'm trying to remember what year that was, that we gathered 750 paper signatures and approximately 1,000 online
Hmm.
signatures in favor of keeping the pool open. We've met with city council members individually. We've gone to city council meetings and spoke during the public comment. We've met with the city manager, we met with the county, we've met with school board members,
Hmm.
we've met with everybody we can think of to meet. Oh, we've written letters to the editors. What else have we done? We also met with the Daily Sentinel editorial staff to kind of present why we need to keep the pool open. And the Wonder Club youth leadership out of Palisade
Hmm.
and got involved with us too, and they have been very helpful and spoke at the rally. What else have we done?
I
That's it.
think one thing too that people talk about a lot when this is brought up is like, well, what about funding? What have you all done there? I don't think cookie sales are going to cut it. We've discussed that before. But the committee has definitely explored grants, have also
Mhm.
looked into rec districts. Can you tell us a bit more about that as we head into really the money discussion that's going to come up with this?
Yeah, and we have done a little bit of research,
Hmm.
but again, we kind of feel like that's really the city's job,
Sure.
because it is a public community indoor pool. We have done a little bit of research of where, grants can
Hmm.
be, but as a committee, we're not able to ask for those money,
Yeah,
that
you can
money.
apply for it.
Right, because we're
Yeah.
not a government entity. And the biggest thing is that the city doesn't own the pool. So they've also been
Mm.
kind of caught in this, the school district owns the pool. They say, at least in the past, that they're willing to give it to the city. And we're hoping that's still on the table. So it's been hard to know what to do,
Right.
so we have done a little bit of research on funding, but we're hopeful that the city is going to do more and in that aspect of looking for possible partners, again, large entities that may help like they did with the CRC.
Yeah, the
They
rec
were
center.
wonderful. Yes, the rec center, community rec center with finding donations and
Hmm.
grants and things to help fund that. So
Definitely.
they're the experts at that, and we are not. And the rec district that you mentioned, my little bit of knowledge, and one of our committee members has researched it extensively. Again, that's something that the city does.
Hmm.
We can help as far as knocking on doors because it has to, my understanding is it has to go to a ballot issue.
Okay.
But it's something that the city does, and we as a committee and a community can help, like knock on doors
Hmm.
to get it passed. But and what that does is it would incorporate possibly Orchard Mesa, Whitewater, that whole area out there,
Some parts of Clifton.
and parts
Yeah.
of Clifton, yes, where we would be like our own city, is my
Mm.
understanding. We pay taxes, and the big question is because we've had dreams of what can go up there.
Hmm.
Would a rec district, can you do a rec district that would cover a pool, a medical clinic, all these
Mm.
other possibilities? We don't know that.
Right.
So there's a lot to learn, but that is one of the possible options that the city is discussing.
Okay. So there are discussions going on. And I
Definitely.
think that brings up to the next question of like, why is it important for the city to take over this pool?
Very good question. And we have been confused as a committee, and I think as an Orchard Mesa community, why the city hasn't taken it over.
Hmm.
Because the last information we heard, and things may have changed, was that the school district was willing to give the pool
Yeah,
and the
$0.
adjacent
Yeah.
property, yes, for free. So it's like, why hasn't the city taken it over? And that question really hasn't been answered.
Hmm.
And so we're grateful to the city council for starting the discussions again about the pool, because right now we have a contract with the school district and the city. It was a 2-year contract, and that contract ends at the end of 2026. So we're very grateful to the city council that they decided to start talking about it again, start the discussions, start the brainstorming now, as they talked about it at the Monday night workshop.
Okay. That was
Um,
this
that was this
most recent
past
Monday?
Monday.
Okay.
Yep. And anybody who wants to see that meeting, it is recorded on the city website, which is gjcity.org.
Perfect.
And you go down to the date, and there's a video icon you can click on to watch the recording.
Okay.
So they had a pretty lengthy discussion and kind of back and forth of ideas, but at least they're not just saying, we need to close the pool and we don't want it.
Hmm.
We didn't hear that. So that's hopeful.
Well, let's dive into that a little bit. So, what would you say, like, what's kind of the most recent update with the pool? Because it's been,
Excuse me.
oh, no worries. Again, it's been over 5 years of work.
Exactly.
So,
We're like mosquitoes, we
you
just kind
have
of
to
keep
be.
coming back. But what about the
You
pool?
have to be. That's the only way to get things done. It's the squeaky wheel.
Yes.
And we've been squeaking for, yeah,
A
over
long
over
time.
half a decade. So what's the newest update? What were they talking about in this workshop? Who do you think is like really, I would say, who do you think is really being a champion right now too for
Mm.
the pool? But
That's a,
let's,
a good point. Right now, again, this is all talk,
hmm,
but we are very hopeful that if and when, I guess I should say when, it comes down to a vote
right.
on council whether to take over the pool after they meet with the district, they still have to meet with the school district. We feel like we have the majority
Hmm.
on the council. Cody has been a proponent to keep the pool open from the beginning. Scott has been very helpful, part of the Save the Pool Committee
Hmm.
and being on council, definitely wants it open. Ben Van Dyke, and recently has been very vocal about
Excellent.
why we need to keep it open. And he even mentioned at the Monday night meeting that Orchard Mesa should not be responsible for paying for it,
Mm,
So that was really good to hear now where the funding's going to come from. But, and Robert Ballard.
sure.
I know Robert may be wavering a little bit, he's
Mm,
got a lot on his plate right now with
hmm.
going overseas, for the Coast Guard. But we think that those four council members would be a definite yes, hopefully, if
Sure.
it comes to a vote.
Right.
Uh,
And Laurel, I remember
And Laurel, I'm
campaign.
sorry, I
Yeah.
knew I was forgetting somebody else. Sorry.
She's
Laurel,
been, yeah.
yes, definitely has been very, very much a proponent
Hmm.
and looking outside the box for ideas of ways that we can fund it because we agree that the city should not be 100% responsible.
Mm.
But if they would just take it over, then they can look at funding. We can help with
Allows for
looking for
grants and things. Yeah.
yes, but the first thing they have to do is take it over. And the fact that it's free, I know it needs work.
Hmm.
And that comes back to one of the other things they were talking about at the Monday night meeting. The Parks and Rec director keeps bringing up that, it's a $6 million fix, and that number is kind of obsolete now because
Mm.
they did a feasibility study, I think it was in 2022, with all these bells and whistles, five different options. But a lot of the work on the option that said it was $6 million has been done. The gym's been
Oh,
demolished.
sure. Good point.
So we really feel like we need a new feasibility study. And I think Scott brought that up, that yeah, the old one is just kind of antiquated.
Hmm.
And we never asked for all the extra bells and whistles. The new community rec center is going to have that with
Right.
their five pools and the climbing wall. And we just want a functional pool. So we're hoping that that could be done.
How much for that first feasibility study, how much was the committee brought in to like help guide that process or be a part of it?
We emailed the council, we met with individual council members and have offered help all along the way. And I feel like we're being listened to, but
Hmm.
we weren't part of decision making. And I don't know if we should have been, Hopefully they took our suggestions into those discussions. But yeah, we weren't really part of making those decisions.
How would you like to see moving forward? I think it does make a lot of sense to have another study, just to at least get the numbers correct. And how would you like to see Save the Pool like influence that study or be a part of it and share your community side of things?
Wow, that's a good question. It would be nice to have a seat at the table.
Hmm.
And the other issue, kind of talking about the options so at the Monday night workshop
Yeah.
meeting, the city put up a screen with four options for the pool. One of them was to what was the first one? I can't remember. The second one was to close the pool. So the first
Okay.
one was just to continue the operations of the pool. The city would even after the community center opens, the new one.
Hmm.
The second one is close the pool when the
Hmm.
community center opens. And then the third and fourth ones are the ones they were really focused on Monday night. The third one being putting the pool out for an RFP, which is, what does this stand for?
Uh,
Um,
RFP request for
Request
proposal.
for proposal.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm so bad with
That's okay.
acronyms.
No, there's a ton of them.
There are, so request for proposal where it would go out to bid to large organizations like possibly the hospitals and whoever else,
Okay.
to take over the pool.
Oh, to take over
Or
completely.
Well, how did they word it? Release a request for proposals to find a partner to take over ownership and operation of the pool and potentially add in new assets to the site.
Okay.
So that was the third one. And then the fourth one is the rec district, where the city would form this rec district. And the people, the community in Orchard Mesa and surrounding areas would pay taxes to help fund the pool and whatever else may be built next to the pool.
Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, that is confusing a little bit in
It
regard.
is.
So At least I know the school district attempted to sell the pool and the land actually pretty early on in this process. I think
Right.
once we had the pool intergovernmental committee breakup. I do remember that, and
Yes.
there weren't really any private buyers out there looking for it, and most private there's not a lot of private pools.
Right.
Most
Right.
most pools and communities are publicly funded,
Exactly.
or you have the like small lane pools in Crossroads or Mesa Fitness, but not
Right.
not a community gathering point. The just the rec district. I mean, hopefully our counselors can expand their ideas, and they get this. They ask the city to provide them. But I remember one big thing that kind of keeps coming to mind for me is the 29 road vote, and putting up a debt line for over 180 million. And if they believe that the money was there for that proposal, and I know there's questions from Michael Bennett now about money being there for something like 29 Road, but this would be a fraction of that, and they were putting that forward without a tax increase.
Hmm.
Um, and so this maybe not a question to you, but well, I guess it is. I mean, would you like to see the city come forward with more options to pay for this?
Definitely.
Okay.
And I think getting community engagement to help with that brainstorming might be
Hmm.
helpful. And one of the other things with the RFP, the request for proposal, um, an option to that is something that has been talked about where if we could do like a round table with
Hmm.
engaged organizations like the hospitals, like
The library.
the library, and that's where my dream comes in
Yeah.
about the facility. There's so many possibilities that can happen with upgrading the pool and then the adjacent land where the gym used to be, which is now demolished.
Hmm.
There's been talk of a medical clinic. We have nothing in Orchard Mesa. Talk of the post office, the
Mm.
library,
Mm.
possible a few affordable housing units, maybe for teachers.
Hmm.
There wouldn't be enough room for a lot of them.
Sure.
But the other idea one of our committee members had was if they could have a building that would have like 4 or 5 stories,
Hmm.
because it is a large piece of land, but to have multiple things in there building up and
Right.
different stories would have different things on it. I mean, that's the dream.
Hmm.
And a lot of times organizations have had where they own large organizations with a lot of money. They own a building and then they have the people that come in, whatever those organizations are, pay rent forward, like
Sure.
sometimes 10 years forward.
Right.
That's one thing that was done, I think, in Palisade. So that helps offset the costs of the construction
Hmm.
costs. And then also, hopefully partnering maybe with some of these large entities. But the RFP doesn't allow for engaged conversations. And it'd be
Mm.
really cool to see like a town hall with community members and entities, or maybe if the city could meet with these entities first in an engaged brainstorming, write down all
Sure.
the ideas, thoughts, what somebody could do, and then have a forum,
Hmm.
to include the community, like Save the Pool, and get questions and ideas from us as well.
Right. You mentioned before, so kind of the dream facility being like library attached to it, because I know that the library district is looking to their rent really increased at the Orchard Mesa branch, and they're looking to maybe move.
Right.
I don't know if that decision has been made or
I don't
finalized.
either.
So this could be an opportunity for a building, and you also talked about healthcare and a
Right.
clinic being really needed in our region. And have you all like talked to any of those entities about interest, whether it be like from the medical side or from the library for kind of building this, Orchard Mesa community campus?
And that's really the big dream, is to
Hmm.
see like a mini rec district, or excuse me, not rec district, recreation center in Orchard Mesa, like
Hmm.
what you just said. Yes, there have been discussions with different entities, and I know different individual council members
Okay.
have met with larger entities to just kind of breach this idea. But nothing formally has
Hmm.
been done. So, but
Yeah.
yes, there has been talks, which is encouraging.
Hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
The other thing about Orchard Mesa too, just for statistics, and I'm
Please.
not good at statistics,
No, that's why we
but
got the paper. And hold on, real quick. Oh,
sure,
hold up your papers, because this, you said this has
hold 'em
been,
up.
yeah, it's been over 5 years,
Oh,
there's,
this whole notebook.
yeah, right, exact. So there's been some work, a lot of
Exactly.
free labor
Yes,
has been put into that.
with you included in helping. So I just wanted to mention that we have in Orchard Mesa only 4% of the city parks, and
Mm,
yet Orchard Mesa makes up 25% of our 69,000 approximate population, and we pay taxes
right.
for all the other parks. And the only amenities we have for families out there is the bowling alley and the pool and
Mm,
two parks.
mm-hmm,
So, and the other thing that council members, a number of them have talked about is to take care of what we have. I
mm-hmm.
know Cody has said that, Ben, Laurel, Scott,
Robert
and
mentioned a
Robert
lot, yeah.
too. Yeah, let's take care of what we have. And really financially, that makes sense to me rather than just scraping it and then having to build something else anyway.
Right.
So yeah, that's our whole focus, but we have very little. I mean, we don't even have a place you can make copies except the library, and that may be
Mm,
gone in
mm-hmm.
Orchard Mesa. And no clinic. We used to have an urgent care clinic, so if you have a medical need, you can go to the veterinary office.
Right, yeah.
But there's no medical clinic,
That's a
so
great point.
that's, and again, it's when you look at the bigger picture too, there are a lot of underserved families
Mm-hmm.
on the south side of Grand Junction, Orchard Mesa specifically. And we're so excited that we're going to have a new community rec center. Our community needed that, definitely, and it's going to be wonderful. But a lot of people are not going to be able to access it due
Right.
to financial costs and transportation.
Mm-hmm.
So many people are not going to let their kids ride their bike over North Grand Patterson,
Right.
to get to the CRC. And the daily pass is just a little bit more expensive, which we get. And I understand higher costs because there's more bells and whistles. You got to
Mm-hmm.
pay for that. But the family pass is more than double. Plus, they're going to charge extra for classes like
Right.
yoga, aerobics. That's all extra,
Mm-hmm.
which will eliminate the ability for a number of our families to go there.
Right.
So we need an alternative. It's great we're going to have that, but it doesn't need to be at the expense of closing the Orchard Mesa pool. And I know I'm a broken record
No,
about
we
it.
have to be. It's so well said because it's so true. I think, when we talk about council, I do want to add in, I think, Jason Wynn had at least been open,
And Jason too,
yeah,
yeah.
to the idea of, he's kind of contemplated, does it need to be a pool or like some type of other facility? But I think he's at least been willing to participate.
Most
And
definitely,
yeah.
most definitely. And I think he seems to be, at least when he talks in meetings, and we've talked to him, kind of changing
Okay.
his place depending on the money part too. But
Sure.
initially, like you said, I think he definitely agrees that we need to have some kind of amenity in Orchard Mesa, but what that is, he
Hmm.
wasn't sure.
Right.
But yes, I'm sorry, Jason, I forgot you
That's
too. I'm
there's a lot of
nervous
them.
for some reason,
Hey,
and he's my friend.
there's a lot of stuff going on. Well, I think, as we look to kind of just close out the conversation, you recently had some polling come out that you all
Yes.
did. Do you want to kind of talk about
Yes,
some of those findings?
I
And
would love to.
I
I don't
have,
think I put it on my notes yet. You've
okay,
got the
I got some
outline.
documents here,
Thank
but
you.
yeah, sure.
So we distributed many surveys
Yeah.
about the pool. We had what we
Over
had?
250 respondents.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
and we
great.
had 200 yes, 250 respondents, and we had 10 questions. And I posted this on our Facebook
Great.
page, which is, so we actually have two, but the main page is Save Orchard Mesa Pool. And we highly recommend joining our page because that's where we post everything. After meetings, I will frequently post the link from the city website
Great.
for people who can't attend. We love it if people can attend, and we like people to wear blue shirts in honor of the color of the
This
pool.
was not even on purpose,
This
but it worked
was.
great.
And so we handed out a survey to try to get a feel for what the community wanted now. Because the last survey, from what we've been told, I think it was in 2022,
Mm.
CMU put out a survey,
Hmm.
but that's a long time ago for
Yeah.
what, and the Parks and Rec director keeps coming back to during that survey in 2022, the majority of responses were that they wanted one community rec center. Well, according to our survey in 2025, that is not true.
Yeah, not even close.
No.
Right.
So, some of the big takeaways from this was one of the questions was that Mesa County has one of the highest suicide rates in the
Hmm.
US. Did you know that water therapy is essential in helping people that have mental health disorders? And 62% of the people knew that. What was some of the other ones here? Okay. Would you support Orchard Mesa Pool becoming a community rec center on the south side of Grand Junction? And 98.7% said
Hmm.
yes, which was huge. Would you be willing to pay extra tax money to help support the pool? And 93.4% said yes,
Right.
which was huge too. That was surprising. And then it says, after the community rec center is open, would you still swim at the Orchard Mesa pool? And 82.4% said yeah,
Right.
which was really cool. Like I said, there'll be a lot of people that go to the community rec center, and there might be a lot of people that go originally. It's the new penny.
Right.
I want to go see it. I
Of
want to
course.
try it out.
We're spending money on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people, especially older people and people who just want to swim laps.
Hmm.
They may not want the noise. They may not want to pay the fees.
Right.
And it would be nice to have an alternative.
Well, and families too.
Yeah,
And
families.
for me in particular, I'm an OM resident, very proud of that fact, and want to have easier access for my daughter to have recreation. And with this poll, it's obviously people that are probably more um, consider the pool to be important. But I think the big thing there with over 250, people partaking in it, that those are real solid supporters that want to get out, that want to, they're willing to say, hey, I know times are tough right now, but this pool is so important that I'm willing to contribute some more funds and I'm willing to talk to my neighbors to do that as well.
Yes,
That this can really happen. And it's just, and also I would argue that the funds are there.
me too.
And we just really need this entity. And you're so right with the youth. In my work with trying to get kids back into the school system and really, so many are just isolated at home and there's not a lot to do for
Right.
kids here.
Right.
And this is just such a inexpensive option. It's activity, you're getting healthy, you're getting both mentally and physically, you're seeing neighbors, and like I think every time I go in there, I hear two or three different languages, which is
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
I've seen the Afghan refugee families there.
Really
Yeah,
nice. Nice.
a lot of Latino neighbors as well, and it's amazing. It's community.
It's communicative. Yep, exactly.
And this should be just an easy council members. This should just be an easy win. It's an eight. They talk about 80-20 issues where 80% of the people are supportive, and that's what the dream issues are for
Yes.
people that want to do this and
Yes.
find the solution. So,
Definitely.
you all have been mosquitoes, definitely, but
Yes, the city council knows as well.
they do, and that's what's so important. And that's what Better Together is about,
Yeah,
is people learning. And what do you think? And just I guess our last question here today, um, besides we'll do kind of like how people get involved, but
sure.
what have you learned in this process?
I
Not just necessarily about the pool, but just like getting involved in local government, getting involved in your democracy in our republic.
That's a fantastic question because I never, ever in a million years thought that I would get involved in politics.
Sure.
In this, I mean, not that this is
No,
politics,
it's okay. It's
everything's
politics. Yeah,
political,
yeah.
and I have no, I mean, I've been passionate about certain issues, but this one really lit a fire under me
Hmm.
because, and like I said, I was a swimmer to begin with, so it kind of started selfishly. But then very quickly it became, this is about community. This is not just us
Mhm.
that want to swim. It's about our families and community. And we kind of feel like Orchard Mesa has become the redheaded stepchild
Mm,
lately, and it's like, why take away things? And also, we have a huge population. Why can't we support two indoor pools?
right,
It just makes sense. There's certain areas, like I remember people talking about it when growing up in Wisconsin. Every high school had a pool,
right,
there's pools in neighborhoods everywhere.
right.
Why can't that be for Grand Junction? So but that's a really good question. So I kind of jumped on the bandwagon, and I also don't take no for an answer.
That's good.
That's why 6 years later, we're still here,
Right.
because I haven't yet heard a definitive argument of why it needs to be closed, except that it's old. I'm old. Are you just gonna get rid of me?
No.
It's like, and so many of our governmental buildings downtown are old, and they get renewed, reinvented, reimagined, to upgrade them, So how is the pool any different?
I would say this for you. I think this echoes for you too. I think my friends call me persistent and my not friends call me annoying. But
Exactly. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah,
Well, that's great. Go ahead and just tell us one more time how people can get more involved with Save the
sure.
Pool and just get connected to their community.
Okay, well, our Facebook page again is Save, all written out, Save Orchard Mesa Pool. Our second page, so the Save Orchard Mesa Pool is specifically about pool related issues. When meetings are coming up, city council meetings, when we need a bunch of people to hand out flyers, that's the main page. Our second sister page is Save OM, the initials OM Pool. And there's also pool things on there, but there's also neighborhood
Hmm.
Orchard Mesa things that come up too. So it's great to join both pages. And what we really like to see, if you're, excited about keeping the pool open, you feel strongly about it, is to write letters to the editor. You don't have to have a paper subscription to do that. You can find the link online. Writing letters, emails, calling city council members, and they all can be found on the gjcity.org page. One real easy email is where you send it to council
Mm,
at gjcity.org, and that goes to all the council members, but then it's also good to CC it to the city
right.
manager, Mike Bennett. And I think you can send it to citymanager.gjcity.org, but all their individual emails are also on the city website. So sending letters of why it's important for us to keep this pool open, calling, coming to city council meetings, and joining our page would
Right.
be helpful.
And you know what? Come to the pool.
Yes, come swim. It's
Yeah.
awesome. It's awesome. And now, because our Save the Pool committee has been out there handing out flyers and schedules, pool schedules, the water aerobics, the aqua aerobics classes are so big. It used to just be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now they have water aerobic classes all week long from
Awesome.
8:30 to 9:30, Monday through Friday, because so many people are coming because we're
Good.
getting the word out.
Great work. All right, everyone. Well, thank you,
Thank
Marianne.
you
Thank you
for
all for
that.
watching. And this is Better Together, and we're better together.
Yes, and you have a great
You
day.
too. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Special thank you to our Patreon members. We are 100% community funded, and your support goes a long way. You can become a member at patreon.com/bettertogether, and we have several options and perks, so check it out.